Accept your death.
There's one thing that I dislike more than anything else about our society, and that is getting my hair cut. That is something that I always dread. It's part of the reason why I actually grow my hair so long sometimes. Is like just sitting in a chair awkwardly while someone's like cutting your hair and stuff is kind of I don't know. I don't like it. It takes too long. It's like 45 minutes that I'm sitting there.
It's too intimate too. Like you got people, I don't know, because you're probably not the kind of guy that goes and pays for a massage or anything like that either, or goes and hangs out in the spa with your shirt off and stuff. I'm like the same way. I'm like projecting myself onto you, but it's like those things that we have in common.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I've had like literally 3 haircuts since COVID lockdown in March 2020 started. So
Dang.
my hair's, I look like a metal producer or something.
I mean, that's cool though. I mean, that's unfortunately, you know, when I have to work with the public, I have to be somewhat presentable sometimes. So I mean, but I usually do like.
What are you trying to say about me? People with hair like me, not presentable?
Haven't you heard the song that long-haired freaky people need not apply?
I think you could rock a man bun, Dink. I think we should put a 1 in the chat if you think Dink should grow his hair out and he can just put in a man bun while he's at work at the paint store.
Man, I'm actually super jealous of everyone with long hair. I picked up my son from his girlfriend's house yesterday, and his hair is like almost at his ass, and she had braided it into a nice long braid, and it just looked so cool. I was so jealous. I was like, man, I want long hair like that. I've always said that, like, when I start to get like that, either probably white, I'm thinking my hair is going to go. I don't think it'll be as gray. I think it'll be more white just because of my ancestry and all that kind of thing. I'm just going to grow like the longest, craziest like braid you've ever seen. It's going to be awesome. I'm pretty stoked for it. I'm already starting to get there.
I have gray streaks right now, like in the Doctor Strange position, like at my temples, and now my hair's like really long, so I got these big gray streaks just on my like dark hair.
Yeah,
it's like a wig.
I found my first one about 10 months ago, and since then they've been sprouting. It's coming in hard, coming in fast. So
the hairs are so weird when you get like the little single ones. They're like fishing line. They're like so big. They're so thick. Don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. Because I look in the mirror every day, and I can almost like grab them like individually with like very little effort. I'm like, look at this.
Yeah, it's like a guitar string. Like those things are crazy.
Yeah, they're just the nice reminders of our aging process, right? So I don't even know why that happens. Is it like our body just kind of run out of energy to keep color in our hair, or like I don't
there is something that affects the color, right? That as you get older, it doesn't like replenish or something. But it's not like, it's like completely natural. It's not like critical to your health or anything like that. So
right. Yeah, I have a friend who goes to the hairdresser quite often, and she's like, yeah, we'll just, get a little bit of this color going to refresh your roots. And she's like, just say that we're going to dye the grays. You don't need to word it all freaking fancy. Get the idea.
I'm sure plenty of people get butt hurt.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Especially like a couple of my friends who are like natural blondes, and like they'll dye their hair dark, and as soon as it starts growing out, you can see those like gray hairs right away, and they're like, nope, going back to blonde.
I think that looks cool. I love it. Like when I see somebody with long hair, like a woman with long hair, and half of it's blonde and half of it's dark because they bleached their hair and then they're just growing it back out. So it's like just like the tips or something, or like halfway down, chin down or something.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool kind of transitionary look. Do the same thing with the grays, man.
You could. Yeah, you could. I actually I haven't really cut my hair since I found any of my gray, so I don't know what it's going to look like, and being a little bit shorter, but the reveal. It's nice that when I make when I have my cam on YouTube these days, I'm just so tiny that you can't even notice. So I'll ride that train out for a while. So those are the hacks,
Your little postage stamp webcam in the corner. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just hiding in the corner. Look at all the color that's in my hair. Isn't that amazing? Don't enlarge this. Don't be watching this on a 4K TV.
I mean, what else is amazing?
Oh, baby, the comments. And this week more than ever. I tell you, we spent some extra time picking out the comments this week. So starting with the first this one, Sander, first comment on last week's podcast. Very, let's give him a hand here. Wherever you are, just give him a hand. I've noticed that like this is more of a thing on Twitch than YouTube, is like being first in the chat. So like on Twitch, it's like a bigger deal. But every once in a while, I do see the first comments here on YouTube. I don't see them a whole lot, and I don't really pay attention on other YouTube videos that I'm watching to see if people put them there. But mind you, a lot of times there's like 80 billion comments, so who really knows?
But this one, how like it doesn't refresh on other people. Say like it's a, I don't know, Asmongold video or what, another YouTuber, right, that has just so many views, like as soon as it's like uploaded and your comments haven't refreshed in time. So there's like, 20 people saying first, in any given
Right.
comment because they can't see anything else, even if they were there early. But this one says first.
Verticist. I
Say that a few times fast.
The lore in my brain is that they were just mashing, like they just wanted to get that. They were in there. They were determined first in the comments, and that's what I appreciate, is that commitment, being the first. Even if it's not correctly spelled, doesn't matter. Still first.
Do you think the crying laughing emoji is to like indicates the awareness of what you're talking about, the first culture?
I think
like it's kind of tongue in cheek.
I think it could be, like, hey, how ridiculous is it that I'm first in the chat? Like, I don't know, maybe. A funny story that I have that some of you who watch me over on Twitch will know is we have somebody 300 who comes in the chat, and a couple years ago now came in like 45 minutes into my stream. First time I asked, maybe not the first time, but comes in just first, and I'm like, no, you're not first, man. Sorry. And then it just drops 5 subs first. I'm like, oh, first in the chat. How do you do it? 45 minutes in. So that's always been the meme. He'll just pop in every once in a while first. Like, 300 first in the chat. How does he do it? I don't know. Amazing thing. So
he does it 5 gift subs at a time, it sounds like.
Hey, you too could be first in the chat.
Dink's selling out for subs.
Selling out for subs.
He's creating a series of alternate facts.
It is cool how, like, a Twitch audience can sometimes be different than the YouTube audience. Some people watch more rather than other. I don't personally watch a whole lot of Twitch. A little bit of it, usually in the mornings if I have a day off, but I definitely watch more YouTube than Twitch. That's just my preference. But anyways, thanks for that. Moving on here. I like cigarettes. There's AO Shujinkydink. Cigarette, puff of smoke. Why? Fire emoji. Shang Tsung, fire emoji. Be so ass and MK1 for real. Smoke. Is normal so lackluster on God. Cigarette. I try to be waking up with my Ford mid and Cameo Steel come out. Thumbs down emoji. This shit whack as hell. Smoke. Also, can I get a sig? I'll get you back next week. Smoke, fire emoji. Absolute top tier comment here.
Yeah, Dink, why Shang Tsung have to be so ass for real? What's your take?
My take on Shang Tsung being ass is that he's meant to play a certain way. And I don't actually think he's that bad, to be honest. I think he just takes more effort. And I've been on the train saying this for a long time. Like, you have to be someone who really likes playing mirror matches, in my opinion. Like, you got to be constantly going back and forth. And then he has like the 2-bar restand, right? That puts him as plus 40 something, which is crazy. And I think that's kind of what he's like, because he does really good meterless damage. Like, you've seen all the, standing for fireball, that all kind of stuff. So like, you do those into your 2-bar steel. Now you're the other character with a damage buff, with whatever cameo you want, and then just go to town in the mirror match and just try and play them out in the mirror match, right? That's kind of like how I think he should be played, and Wraith plays that kind of style really good that I've seen.
And that has like, the fact that you look exactly the same, it's not like the same skin, but with an alternate color, you look exactly the same. Depending on what you're doing and what character it is, sometimes I get lost in that. I'm like, wait, which one am I? Which one am I? Like when we get like when neutral kind of resets, it's like, okay, wait, what? Like, I don't know. But I think he's one of those characters I think NRS is afraid to do too much to. like the way they were kind of treating Tremor till they said fuck it and did it anyway, like recently. But kind of how they treated Frost and stuff as well, like maybe just little things here and there. They've treated those cameos way better than Shang, but I feel like he might fall into that same philosophy as like, yeah, we don't. I think they're afraid of tweaking the wrong thing and him turning from kind of like low tier to pretty obviously broke.
Yeah, and I think there's a fine line there. Like giving him the cameo steals, I think that was a lot. There's still more to learn there. And then some of them aren't really that great. Like the chameleon steal isn't really that great, but it was such a cool idea to add to him too, that, not only is he morphing in other characters, he can also do a cameo move, so, and some of them are actually like insane, like stealing Sector's teleport, like as like just a regular character. It's actually pretty nuts into a full combo launcher. So I don't know.
I agree. I think it's cool. And they gave them kind of like unique animations, the way they kind of do for Shujinko and stuff, right? He turns into the cameo, but he's doing, Frost. What does he get? The ice crash?
Yeah.
But it has like different properties. Yeah, and he can spend the bar to turn into a launcher, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, and he can do it in the air too. So he can jump, come down with the ice crash, and I believe it's safe, if I remember correctly. It's funny when I'm playing against Shangs, though, because sometimes they get... when you go from like a crouch animation to like his forward 4 animation, sometimes you get that cameo steal button. And it's always hilarious because I'm usually rocking Shujinko, and they'll go from like crouch like into Shujinko meditation, and I know that that's not what they meant to do. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we all been there, right? If you've ever had Shujinko in practice mode, that's already happened to you like 100 times.
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily. So I don't really think he's ass. I think he's just meant to play a certain way that to me is not appealing at all. Like, I don't want to be doing mirror matches. Screw that shit. But I mean, if that's up to you, I think he's probably a solid mid tier. Could be higher if you know the tech. I don't know. I thought about messing around with him a little bit, but we'll see what comes of that.
Was your day one main?
He was. Shang Shujinko was the old day one main. Maybe I'll go back to that and revisit that during my character crisis here. Who knows?
That was a lot of ground fireballs.
Yeah, you got salty at me trying to show you some text. He's like, I don't want to be watching that combo every single time. There's too many fireballs.
That Twitter video that showed like the timeout when Ninja Killer did that was like timing out the clock with it or whatever. It was like a 2-minute and 40-second video or whatever. Like what he was displaying. It was like, that is definitely technical, but that's too many ground fireballs for me.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Just too many. No, not worth it.
Just the sound effect starts to sound like, fingernails on a chalkboard or whatever.
It's kind of clunky, especially like compared to like his fireballs and MK11. I don't know. They just feel clunky to me. I don't know what it is. But anyways, thanks for the comment. If I smoked cigarettes, that would help you out, but I do not. My lungs are pretty virgin as far as that goes. So, final comment here. Shinfits. You would have loved Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance, traditional turn-based RPG, and a pairing system similar to Cameos, and had a versus mode with your friends. It was chef's kiss. Yeah, that does sound like right up my alley. Anything like turn-based. I love turn-based stuff. It's just, I don't know why. I think it's because I love strategy and setting things up and having that time to think. It feels like a fighting game, but like with time, like you see your opponent does like forward 4, and I'm before it hits me, I get to sit there for a second and be like, okay, what am I going to do about this? But it's like slower, I don't know. That's why I seem to like them. I also remember having a Game Boy Advance, but I don't really remember what games I had on that system. I do remember having it. Was that the one that came in all the different colors? You get like a yellow one,
I think so,
a blue one, or a purple one, or whatever.
Maybe I had the original one, like when it first came out, because I'm an old man. But I haven't had any portable gaming device since then, so it's all kind of foggy to me.
Yeah,
there's like the DS. The DS had the screen. Well, I guess they all had screens in them. The DS. So there's the Advance and then the DS. Is that how it works? I'm gonna get roasted. I don't know.
I'm not much more help than you are. I think there was a couple, because there was the original game, the OG, the big white blocky one. There was the Game Boy Color that came out at one point.
So you already know more than me.
Well, then there was I think then it was a Game Boy Advance. I could be mixing those two up. Could be. And then I don't really, as far as handheld goes, my Nintendo lore is not there. I think there was did it really just go from there into the DS? I don't really remember. Maybe. Yeah, that would have been like mid 2000s. I won a DS actually at one of those little game places that we had around here. There was a little like electronic game that has like squares that go like side to side. And you had to like stop the squares in like a line. And I won a DS one day. It was kind of cool. Played a lot of Legend of Zelda, I think, at that time. Wind Waker or something like that. Was it Wind Waker? Something to do with time? I don't know. Little animated sprite dudes. Yeah, that's not a series I've really been too far into, but you haven't been a big portable gamer there, Hater, over the years?
No, or a Nintendo player. I just think the original one came out when I was a kid. I remember my older brother getting it for like his 12th birthday. And then when there was like other competition and not every, I don't know, I feel like it was like really expensive and like we didn't keep on the up and everything. I remember having a Super Nintendo, and of course like Mario Brothers and stuff like that's like a classic. But a lot of it I acknowledge the way that I do like Harry Potter or something, and other things I feel like I just never bonded with, but are obviously hyper popular. You kind of, always talk about like the Rolling Stones, right? I don't ever listen to them. I don't even like particularly like, I don't like love it the way that other people love it, but there's got to be something to it, right? So I acknowledge it for that for sure. I just don't understand the appeal personally.
There is a nostalgia portion to that too, right? Like remembering, a series that you had when you were a kid, and to some extent, Mortal Kombat's like that too, right? Everyone has their memories of playing the first Mortal Kombat game and that kind of a thing. So
right, and the things that you love in those formative years, they get like hardwired into your brain,
Yeah, it's true. It just becomes something. It's like a comfort thing, It's just a comfort thing playing those nostalgia type games.
Because a lot of the times, I mean, video games are escape, right? Especially when you're a kid and your parents are being shitheads or whatever. Someone's always on your case, bully at school or like whatever. It's like your escape. It's like what we use them for now in our adulthood and stuff too, right?
Totally.
So yeah, it's like the happy place.
I tell you, MK1 has not been my happy place lately. I've been struggling the last week. I'm completely gaslit myself into thinking that there was a patch last week when I was a week behind. Yeah. And then so I was like, I have to do one more week of this really before, like, even though there's absolutely zero guarantee something's coming, I've just, Copium, something's coming on at the end of the season. You have Copium.
And you just have, I've been reading what you've been saying in the Discord, and you definitely have, you're looking for that savior. You're the great white hope, they call it, right? And you're like the prospect or the anticipation of something. And I feel like you put too much pressure on yourself, or your expectations are too high. And then when it's just a regular character, especially one that you've already kind of dabbled with before, and you're kind of reminded of that like immediately.
Right.
And it's kind of like, it's a buzzkill. So I think you just might need a little breather, right? Take the next couple days off.
Yeah, I don't know why it just keeps like, it just pulls me back in, like I did make Elder God using Conan Shujinkydink yesterday.
Hey, so that's pretty hype.
So I haven't done that in a couple seasons, so it's kind of nice. And then I was like, okay, well, next time I lose with Conan, I'm switching to Quan, and we'll do this in Quan. And then I lost, and I switched, and I think I lost 4 in a row, and I was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. So I don't know. We'll see. Then my brain is like, well, I could go back to Sector and try Sector Shujinkydink again, and then I just at this point I know that's not the answer. But it's not like it's my first time ever being in Character Crisis before, so it's just I just need to do something else. I hate that mode.
I feel like half of Injustice 2's life I was like that. Like I felt that way. I felt that way a lot in MK11 as well. But I was lucky that like my fallback was Scarlet's, like my quote unquote true main or whatever, and just always sometimes not feeling it, and some of like the counterplay like against her and stuff, and so you kind of get into that. I think when it comes down to it, it's the character that's got to keep you playing the game, not the drive to just win games or just do well. It's kind of like a working with you got sort of thing. I'm not saying that objectively, right? Like that's just my personal take on it or how I approach it at this point. Like tears be damned, toolkit be damned. Something that when I press the buttons and what comes out, it like feels good to me because sometimes that feels really bad with characters that other people are really good with. Like you just went through with Noob, where definitely can feel a little clunky. His pacing can be kind of weird,
Yeah, and it's not like it's part of me doesn't care enough about the character to be like, I just got to stick with it and I'll get it, like it's like I don't immediately click with this, so no, gone, you're out of here. That's just how I've always worked with stuff. I don't really know why I am the way that I am, but maybe something affected me a long time ago.
Do you hate losing more than you love Quan Chi?
I think so, because
yeah, fuck you, Quan Chi.
Fuck you, Quan Chi. Because like yesterday, like I didn't really even have any fun playing him because like he just gets steamrolled
because he goes yabba dabba doo when he
yeah,
pulls out his portals. You're like, that's the last time.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's hard because like when he works, right? Like when you can have matches where you're feeling great and it really relies on your opponent not really understanding how to fight Quan or not being like super up to speed on the matchup, which is like, to be fair, because there's not a lot of Quan Chis, it does happen fairly often. But once I got to the Elder God tier and I literally can't open anybody up because they know how to block out all his mix-ups that aren't really mix-ups. And, unless I'm using Tremor to get like some crazy lows or something like that, it's just hard and it's just not fun.
There's definitely a drop off for him, right? Like he can just get shut down by a lot of characters if you know the counterplay, but he's got a lot of knowledge checks, and those knowledge checks are super frustrating for people, which is why people decry all the Quan downplay, and they're like, no, he's way better than that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you feel that's accurate?
I feel that's extremely accurate. I think that the armor portal is more annoying than it is effective, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of shuts you down. You have to be respective and do things that you kind of have to play the same way that Quan plays, in that you just kind of disrespect things more. Like standing one into armored move to break his armor kind of a thing, or just kind of throwing at the start of an armor portal where you wouldn't really throw just to kill the timer kind of idea.
Right. And he's like, it's like a statement of like, he forces the opponent to take more risks to try to either get out of the armor portal or to just hold it and, over respect it. But kind of wants how to wiggle your way out. But then it's a kind of a scrambly mind game, right? A lot of reads going on both sides, especially when people play Quan Chi aggressively and try to stay pretty close, I would say, like, in at least like standing 3 range and using armor portals to kind of keep you pinned down. And then next thing you know, you're in the corner. And if they've got like Movado or something, and you just feel like you want to turn off the PlayStation for the day,
Yeah, shut her down. That's not my idea of fun. And I totally get it. And I'm how many times I've been on here saying I don't know how you'd buff him, because I don't. I really don't. I don't. He should be a zoner. He should be keeping away. Like the armor portal, like he has very obviously some of the strongest zoning tools in the game. And then you have this armor portal that like gives him really shitty rushdown. Like, couldn't you revamp that somehow to like increase his zoning even more? Like, I
think they maybe had 2 ideas with this character, and that's why he didn't launch with the armor portal. They launched a more, advertised as a premier zoner, trademark, copyright. And then that was like his early buff, is that they put the armor portal in. I have a sneaking suspicion, just, my intuition is that existed. That was already like they weren't like, what does Quan need? They already knew like what he needed. They just didn't release him with it because maybe they weren't sure how he was going to settle into the game's meta. And then once they saw how much he was kind of struggling, of all the DLC characters, I feel like Quan hype dropped off the fastest. Everyone's like, day 1 and day 2 takes his character's ass. They're like good for a couple days, and it's like, nope, they're booty. Right. And then it gets fleshed out over time and stuff. And Quan has been fleshed out a bit over time, but his drop off, I feel like, was representative of that after he was released compared to the other DLC.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was thinking yesterday of doing a matchup chart with him just for the end of this particular patch. My thoughts of what, because I still don't think he has a winning matchup. You know, at one point I thought maybe Rain, but with all the changes Rain's gotten lately, it's still like 5-5 at least. But like, it's funny to hear Quan players talk about matchups and stuff because they're like, oh yeah, that matchup's not so bad. And it's like, it feels like MK9 days where it's like, yeah, like there's a chance we could win, you know, like it's still like a disadvantage, but it's like, you know, there's a chance we could win. It's not like, well, it's not like fighting like T1000 or something, you know, where it's like an 8-2 or something like that. I'm not saying that matchup's that bad. I'm just exaggerating a bit, but like, even though like matchups that I know are losing matchups for Quan and just be, oh yeah, that's not that bad, you know, and it's not like, if I say something's like a 4-6 in favor of the other character, that's not saying it's completely unwinnable. There's just a slight advantage to the other character. You know,
I mean, and it's not like, I think that's why it's good to kind of like have a consensus and stuff. Like what Insomniac tried to do within Justice 2, and he did like to a degree, right? I would say he got a lot of people together and to talk about matchups and kind of figure all that stuff out, because you talk about one individual player versus another one and their matchup spread might look different because they kind of have like a different game plan or something. Gives you know, when you can tell that certain people are playing a character, like, oh, they always do that combo, or like, oh, I know
Right.
this team, or I know this. Like, I think it's a lot of that sort of stuff to where what you think might be better, they might feel a little bit worse about, and there's like some sort of like trade off there, just based on your instincts in neutral and buttons you prefer and situational sorts of things, or the situations they create.
And of course, the biggest thing of all, cameos, right? The cameos that you want to use in what particular matchup, right? Like, Lord knows I have not been a cameo lord by any means. I've got a couple I've played around with, but, you know, good old Shujinko at the end of the day, ha ha ha, you know. But
and I think that some people just like to be positive, try to stay positive, like Woolander, right? Plays Quan, and he's like one of those, like, no, it's cool, man. No, it's, I think it's fine. No, and he's like, you know, but I see that as like a sunny disposition.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like being positive about something you know is ass kind of idea, you know? Like, I know that Quan Chi's bad, so you either like look for the good in it and just be like, oh, no, you know, armor portal though, am I right? You know? But, or you kind of look at it as your experience goes as opposed to mine, but it is going to vary depending on people play different characters too. Like, you know, I feel better about things when I play Conan and Shujinko, 1200 health, as opposed to young Quan with 900 plus whatever his cameo does to him. So
Yeah. In conclusion, Dink hates losing more than he loves Quan Chi.
I shouldn't say losing in general, because I like, a loss is only a loss if nothing is learned. But sometimes it feels like I learned nothing. And that's what makes me salty.
Feeling like, yeah, I agree. It sucks feeling like really helpless and just completely shut down and stuff like that. And like that you're not getting any takeaways. You understand what's happening. You just don't like the tools that at your disposal to try to do something about it. You know, like a 9 frame down one, you know, things like that.
Yeah, like getting double flawless yesterday by T1000 because they got in once and I just did not guess correctly 3 times in a row, lost the round.
In a game like Mortal Kombat, having a down one like that is like something just as little as that could go a million miles in this game, because poking is so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To the point where like I don't even use my down 1. I will use my down 4, even though it's like 11 frames, because it has a little bit of a disjointed hitbox that I can push them away from me. Their counter poke will miss.
You can use it from further away too, right?
Yeah, and then I can also special cancel it into the armor portal. And then it's a little bit of a get off me, plus now I have armor. What are you going to do? So rather than just hope that my 9 frame down 1 gets out and hits, and then maybe I get something started, but I'd rather use something that pushes, creates a little bit more distance. But that's just me. I'm not an optimal player these days, so I'm sure the top Quans have better strategies, but I'd like to see him get something. But we'll see. I hope this game just doesn't get crazy. You know, I don't know how many balance patches are left. People are still saying that they're not. They're like, oh, are you sure they're coming? And then they've confirmed since after the last one we got that more balance patches are coming. They did use plural, by the way. I believe balances. They said something like that. So.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, fool me once, shame on me, right?
Yeah.
I take literally everything they say at face value because things change, has been like proven time and time again. But I feel like the way they worded it, and they're just kind of like, we're done making. They released the movie skins early and all that stuff, right? No more content. There'll be a couple more they'll say future balance patches, but nothing substantive, like no content or anything like that. So I'm taking that as just like, it did say plural, right? Like I take it as they're not looking to. You know, Reptile still does need this or something, but they're on the radar for anything that might still need to be hot fixed. If people are still finding bugs, like, you know, some of that Homelander shit or whatever, they're still looking at it and they still have resources and stuff, and they'll fix it, you know, sort of thing. That's what I would probably expect from any future balance patch, but nothing crazy, not like a big party send off or anything. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in my mind, like there's going to be one update before Evo, and then probably one after Final Combat as whatever they want the game to exist into the future, and then that's it. That's just how my mind has mapped things out. I don't know what the next season's going to look like as far as how long it lasts or whatever, but I don't know. Usually that tends to coincide with how they balance patches, but I don't know. I'm pretty in a pretty meh position with the game right now. As long as I don't have any expectations of myself, it's fine for me to just turn it on, play some ranked matches, and it is what it is, you know? But now that I've reached Elder God,
so what
it feels
is
better.
You're playing less MK, what are you playing instead?
Still grinding away at Expedition 33, man. I didn't think I'd get this much replayability out of it, because it's like a one playthrough. You get all the story. There's not really much else to do, but I've just found different builds and stuff like that.
So that's what you're having fun with, is just the combat mostly. That's what has you coming back.
Yeah, I've done like all the story stuff, all the lore, all that kind of stuff, and now I'm just kind of working on like just trying to see how much damage I can get out of each character, because like you can build them and make them pretty freaking tanky and beefy and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I really like doing in those types of games, is just making my character as overpowered as possible and just steamrolling things, and that dopamine you get when it's just like 2 million damage, 2 million damage, 2 million damage every single hit. It's like, yeah, that's fantastic. So I've been doing that.
Do you prefer to parry or dodge?
I prefer to parry. Parry or die, kind of. But sometimes, like, if I'm not really familiar with the moveset, I'll dodge just to kind of get an idea of, you know, what's coming when, kind of idea. But at this point in the game, I know most things, so I can parry pretty consistently. But I did dodge a lot in my first playthrough just because I didn't really understand. And they also buffed the window of parry a little while ago, so you have a much larger window than you did when the game first came out. So that's kind of nice. Makes it easier to kind of get those parries in. But
yeah, I saw someone doing a hitless run.
Yeah, I could try something like that.
Run.
Yeah. I don't know what the parameters of those types of things are. Usually there's, you know, certain bosses you have to take down and that kind of a thing. I've seen them like on Souls games and stuff before, but I've never really sat down and watched one out of.
Right. Well, they categorize them in different ways, right? Like the most common is like any %, which just means the literal only other goal besides whatever your challenge is just to get the credits, right? So minimal amount of bosses, just the bare minimum sort of thing. So that's probably like the most common. And then when they get good and better at that, it turns into like, okay, now all the bosses, now all the DLC and stuff too.
Now everything, we're hitlessing everything.
And then when they get bored of that, it's like, okay, damageless and things that normally would kill, things that wouldn't kill a hitless run. Like if you get poisoned by the environment, it's not an enemy, so it doesn't kill a run, right? But if you're doing a damageless, then something like that would end your run. Fall damage, things that, you know, they get to lower health because it increases their attack power. and think they can't do stuff like that to try to just brute force through bosses. Anyway,
Right.
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not quite ready for that yet, but we'll see. Maybe down the road. I also started mashing around the Street Fighter recently. Street Fighter 6. I pulled the old leverless out and did some practice most things. Spent about probably, I would say, half an hour ish, maybe, just going over JP's like general moveset. Because like the thing, if you don't know, when Street Fighter 6 came out, it came out just before MK1. And everybody was just tagging me nonstop. Like, look at JP, look at this. This is your character, Dink. He's got ruins like Quan and tapping portals and all kinds of things. And it was kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where like there's just so many people and so much hype on this one thing. I'm just kind of like, I don't want that. That's everybody wants me to play this, but that's because I wasn't.
You can't tell me what to do. I'm my own person, so and you had already had an alternate in mind, right? You started playing Jury.
Yeah, Jerry's always been my Street Fighter character since Street Fighter 4. I kind of played around with her, and I don't know, I just like her a lot. And then I liked the way that she played in Street Fighter 6, so I picked her up initially. I won a match on stream at ECT, which is funny because I didn't win my Mortal Kombat match on stream, but I won my Street Fighter match in the mirror, by the way. And then I hadn't really played the game since. I kind of dropped it, and then now with my character crisis and kind of, I was like, well, maybe I could do something else. And then you've kind of been on the Street Fighter 6 revival. Seems to be a lot of people in the Discord. Yeah,
a lot of people in the Discord are playing Street Fighter right now. So it goes in waves, right? Because it's been like this before. And then I feel like there's a crash out. And it's like, when there's like a big patch for Mortal Kombat and people are happy about the game again, and now everybody's playing. And then, in a couple months' time, my friends list goes from like having to scroll when I invite to like 1 or 2 people even online at any given time, like sort of thing. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people playing Street Fighter right now. So you caved to the peer pressure and you're playing JP?
Yeah, I mean, playing is a pretty loose word to use at this point, but learning JP, yeah. So first I had to relearn how to use practice mode. It took me a good 2 or 3 minutes to figure out how to turn on that frame bar. Then it took me another 10 or 15 minutes to figure out how to read the damn thing. And I'm still not 100% sure I understand it.
You don't have any grandchildren to call to explain to you how the VCR works and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like I want to learn, but like I also don't want to bother people with like such like beginner questions and stuff. So I'm trying to YouTube a lot of this stuff, but I'm finding a lot of the information that I'm getting on YouTube, and maybe it's just because I haven't searched it up and it's not in my algorithm yet, is like really mixed, like really like people using different inputs, and I can't understand the combo notations, and it's just overwhelming.
No, ask away. I don't think anybody would be like, oh man, this is so annoying. Like, people are excited about the game right now and excited to talk about it. And I don't think they'd do that anyway, right? I'm sure people that don't even play it but remember playing it would even like chime in, like people like Gorgie and things like that. So I would ask away, take advantage of it, because we're all learning. We're all in different phases of like learning the game, right? Like, so Carl's really good, and we got some other really good people, and then we've got some average players like me, and then a couple other people just getting reacquainted with the game or just starting the game. So
yeah, and it's like one of those things where like me as a person, like, yeah, I could Google stuff and I could search for stuff, but I prefer to like ask people I know and get the information from people I know, because I trust them more and they understand like me and like how I learn and that kind of a thing. Because like I've had friends over the years that I know they'd be into stuff, and they get kind of annoyed if I ask them questions. They're like, just Google it, all the information's on the internet. I'm like, well, I'd rather get it from you, because I know that you know what you're talking about, and like I could get sucked into this big disinformation thing by YOLO Gamer 69 420, and then
right, yeah. I mean, if you were asking questions and people are annoying you, then I would maybe feel that way, but I don't know why else you would just preemptively feel that way. You should take advantage of your like I said, people like to talk about the things they're excited about, and a lot of people excited about it right now. So
yeah, that's and it's also like, I think one of the more frustrating parts is like, I just want to play, but like I know that if I play, I'm just going to get smashed. So there's like I'll get in the game, I'll play a couple matches, and I'll lose because I don't even know how to move my character on the screen properly anymore.
I mean, you just kind of, there's a point where you kind of just have to do it. But if you want to, it has ghosts, kind of like how Tekken 8 does. I don't know if you ever did that when in your little thing with Tekken. But if you don't feel comfortable taking people, but it's just boring just sitting in practice mode, literally just go into the battle hub and there's a little machine in there that'll just put you up against AI that's not just doing random things. It actually is based on gameplay and sequences, and it does input read a little bit, but it's pretty fair because you rank up, right? It has like ranks similar to ranked, so bronze and silver and gold. And then the AI will turn into more of a shithead the closer you get to master, right? And really start input reading you. Like you're never gonna meaty an AI with an invincible
Right.
reversal and shit like that, right? But it'll allow you to kind of like get a feel for like the rhythm, like the pacing of your character and get comfortable. I feel like one of the first things in this game and getting comfortable with is like mashing that jab button. That's such a big part of your defense, like the space that you belong to, your fastest button sort of thing, like kind of like get off me sort of stuff. It's getting comfortable with that jabbing sort of stuff. But you should try that AI thing just to kind of, and then you'll be like, fuck it. This next step is obviously just like, play Koala or play whomever, and then you figure, don't get inundated with like the million billion things that you're going to have to learn. Like you play real matches and then like, okay, well these two or three situations in particular, right? Like I'm getting this punish counter a lot, but I have no idea what to do afterwards. Okay, so that's shit that you go like lab in the meantime. Oh, he keeps hitting me with this. Is this real? Right? Okay, that's something to like lab and just pick away. Just get the shit kicked out of you over and over again. And well, I mean, we've talked about it before. This is kind of universal to kind of like competitive gaming, but like the little wins, whether it's just getting your anti-airs or reacting to drive impact or whatever, and eventually that'll snowball into a much more comprehensive thing,
Yeah, and it's like just like usually like grasping a game super fast, and then just something just so different to Street Fighter is just difficult for me, just being like way down at the bottom again and kind of forgetting, almost like forgetting what it's like to be at the bottom there. Like for Mortal Kombat, like I've helped people over the years like that are super duper new, and it's like, and it kind of keeps me refreshed on what that feeling is like being new in like Mortal Kombat 1 or MK11 because starting from scratch. But like Street Fighter 6, I'm very lost, and like there's so many, it's such a good game as far as like being able to practice the game and lab the game and learn things and record the opponent doing things, but there's just so much that's overwhelming to learn.
Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about that till you need it. Like you just need to know what you do after you hit somebody with like a drive impact, right? You should know what combo you're going to do. You should do probably similar combo off like say like you block a DP, like your biggest punish. Like your jab combo, just you hit confirm your jabs, right? You and Koala were talking about that. Just the 3 jabs in a quarter circle forward, whatever. The hell, and just kind of like you'll pick up the rest as you go. Like focus on your anti-airs and all that sort of stuff, and like those are just like the bare bones little like fundamentals to get you comfortable in like the engine, and then you can figure out all the nuance and stuff later, or like what your options are versus certain things that are beating you a lot, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot I had this button, stuff like that. So
that's always a good feeling when like you forget about one tool because you haven't been using it, and then you like rediscover it again, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I should be using this. Why did I use this the whole time?
No, exactly. And it's fun. Like that's the fun part about learning fighting games is when you kind of have this smorgasbord, this like goulash bouncing around your skull, and then it starts to tie together, right? Certain lights start popping on, and then certain concepts that have been just kind of bouncing around your brain converge and create like a bigger thing, like, oh, like these little epiphanies and stuff.
Yeah, like I was playing Rumble yesterday in a Quan mirror, and he was using the push away portal, and that's something that I kind of forgot about. And I was playing, I was like, this is kind of annoying. I actually can't just a little bit, just a little bit to put like an obstacle on the screen. And I was like, maybe I should play around with that a little bit more. I don't really use it that much because I'm like, oh, people can just jump over it, or people can just wave dash through. But like, it is another obstacle that's kind of annoying that I forgot about. So
it is, especially when people are just, they don't react to the portal. you get it out in your cancel frames or whatever, right? But they're already dialed in or decided that they're going in like with their forward advancing mid, and then they end up just whiffing that in your face because the portal pushes them out. And I would guess you're like in standing 3 range at that point, right? Do you whiff punish shit like that all day, every day as Quan?
Yeah, like that's something I've been doing early on, is like kind of using that to kind of cause them to whiff. Like for example, like Johnny Cage whiffs his forward 4-3 or forward 3-2, whatever it is. And you know, because it's pushing him away, he's expecting it to hit. And then I just whiff punish with standing 4 into whatever combo I want to do. That's where like Mataro I think would be good, because he's standing 4 bone dome and then teleport to the other side kind of idea. So but here we are again. Now I'm thinking about Quan again, and I'm like, okay, well maybe I'll work on that today, and I'll go back into practice mode and play some games, and you know, work on this using the push away portal to see how much it works and how I get sucked back into it every time. And then I'm right then, you know, a day or two goes by and a whole bunch of losses. I'm like, oh man, you know, this game's got me by the balls, blah blah blah. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, sounds like you're in a toxic relationship.
Yeah, a little bit. Just keeps pulling you back in, even though you know it's not great for you.
You love it more than it loves you.
I love it more than I love losing, let me tell you. I've gotten pretty good at that lately.
Nah.
But no, we'll see where I go for. Between like those 3 games are kind of keeping me busy. There's also that game I started playing with, I think we played Carl and Blue the other day, called Peak. It's a fun little game. That was actually probably a lot of the more fun I've had gaming in quite some time. Just like little social game, just your 3 little poorly animated dudes trying to climb up to the top of a mountain. Just hilarity ensues. And it has like, in the actual like game itself, it has like these what's it called, like almost like distance things, like when you see like somebody, like if Carl, like we're standing next to each other and he falls down the cliff, you can like hear his voice like dissipating as he's falling down, right? Which makes it even more
like
funny.
proximity.
Yeah, thank you, I did not have that word, proximity. Yeah, proximity voice chat, which makes it even funnier.
So he goes like, oh.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, like we had one where we were on like a certain one, and then Blue was up above us, and you could kind of like faintly hear Blue, and then all of a sudden you hear the shit like passing down the cliff as he like falls from above us all the way down. Oh man, if you want to have stupid fun with your friends, like was it like a $5 game or something like that? Man, that game is hilarious. It's, yeah, like I said, most fun I've had recently gaming has just been this one little Steam game. So, but yeah, I think it's just the proximity voice chat that really like enhances all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, other than that, that's been my gaming. Have you been on anything new recently? I feel like I just went on a half-hour tirade of what I've been playing. Have you been playing anything new, or are you still on that Street Fighter grind?
Yeah, I've been playing Street Fighter. As far as like game time's concerned, I haven't really played anything else. I was playing Night Rain for a little bit, but I rage uninstalled it a couple weeks ago. So
nice.
Mostly just Street Fighter's just, the game sets my brain on fire. It just has me thinking about so many things, and it's always, as soon as I'm ready to wrap up for the day, I was like, oh wait, I forgot to, you know, try this, or you just kind of like have an idea. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's fun. I've been grinding something for my ADHD brain to fixate on.
You're playing Aki, I believe her name is.
I was mostly playing her. I've been playing Bison the last couple days. I'm still not like, there's characters I like in this game, but nothing's like grabbed me like, yes, this is my character, right? Like
right.
I feel like I've kind of delved into like 5 or 6 characters at this point. So nothing's been like, nope, this is my one true sort of thing. I'm still just kind of like exploring, because I don't know a lot about the game, like how it works and stuff traditionally, like on a competitive level, like outside of like a casual sort of thing.
Right.
So I'm still trying to figure out which tools I like and don't like, right? Like what kind of game plans I like and don't like, what kind of bullshit I don't like dealing with. That some characters can give me good counterplay versus other ones that might be appealing in another way. So I'm just kind of bouncing around and stuff. But I've been playing Bison the last couple days, and I like these bully characters, man. I've got all the waifus that I play, and then always like a big muscle man. Like in MKX, it was Kotal Khan, and in Tekken, it's Armor King, and in
Right.
this game, I guess it's just Bison.
Good old Bison.
Yeah.
So
Big
here's
bully.
a question for you. Is there
Okay.
any change that might happen to MK1 that would kind of get you back into that game for at least a little bit? Like any character change or anything in particular you can think of?
I feel like it's a matter of time until I just get back into it. It's just the cycle of how things work. Like the way my brain works, usually whatever I'm interested in gets most of my brain power, and sometimes that's not gaming stuff at all, and sometimes I balance it pretty well, but most of my phases are pretty manic, and right now it's Street Fighter, and it might be MK1 later. I feel like that's an inevitability. It's just a matter of when, and I have no idea when.
Right. You'll go back to it at some point in time. Something will happen. All of a sudden I pick up Melina and you're just back in the lab again, It's finding all this stuff.
Maybe. I mean, you never know what could happen. But as far as like adding to the game to be kind of like an incentive to like check it out, I don't know. That's one of those things where like I don't know what I don't know. I can't think of anything. But NRS is pretty surprising sometimes, right? Like I never would have thought of that in a million years.
No,
Like
that's true.
some of their character designs and other things.
They are pretty good when it comes to like the creative side of things and coming up with like new ideas that aren't, terrible outside of Quan, I guess, but like different archetypes and stuff, that they throw out there, or lack of archetypes sometimes. But I don't know. I don't see anything. I'm thinking kind of like you though. There'll be like small little tweaks and things, maybe a little bit more than bug fixes, but we're hoping for a little something, little more than just Homelander has a different flight animation or something like that. Although that would be nice.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was one last like really mild patch just to kind of like round out some of the remaining rough edges, like kind of what you're talking about, just minor adjustments, but not like big, and no sort of like I don't want to say overhaul, because I don't think anyone's expecting an overhaul, but I don't expect anything. I don't even expect anything like, oh, we're allowing Ashra to switch stances if she holds the stance switch button after she EXs a special move, right? So even giving a character something additional like that, just kind of enhancing something that already exists, I don't think they'll even go that far. But maybe Quan Chi will get an 8-frame down one or something. I don't think that's out of the question.
I mean, he's gone this far with the 9-frame. To me, it feels like that's kind of how they wanted to design the character. That's what they wanted him to be. So it is what it is.
I have a last question for you.
Absolutely.
Regarding MK1 and its kind of current state. Would you be more happy or more offended if, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if it did happen in one of these patches, they finally added rooms after all this time, but the game's obviously not being developed anymore or something like that, and it's kind of just already kind of run its course. People will continue to play it, right? But for the most part, it's kind of run its course. So would you feel like that's insult to injury, or would you not look a gift horse in the mouth?
Well, I would say that if they did it alongside some sort of crazy sale where you got the game for like $10 just to encourage more people to fill those lobbies, then yes, I would say that might be a positive thing. But I'm kind of more on the slap in the face kind of a thing, that like, hey, you guys haven't had lobby servers to keep up this entire time, and now when the game's finally like, okay, have fun, here you are, like, fuck out of here with that, I would probably host a tournament though. Just saying. That whole lack of lobby thing is the whole reason I didn't host too many tournaments on this game, because it was just so fucking annoying to have to add everybody to WBID, get them in the room, and
it's too much maintenance.
Big shout outs to like the Coliseum and all the people doing online tournaments like that. That is not for me. That is not my jam, unfortunately. So
it's a lot of logistics.
A lot of logistics for not a whole lot of payoff. So, but either way, we'll see. I would like to say that they learned their lesson with this game, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the next one. If it launches, if day one, next game, whatever it is, doesn't have lobbies, I'll hope for that game down down the drain, down the fucking drain, right off the get-go. Like, this is going to be a horrible couple of years of this game.
There is no way that I think that will happen a second time.
I sure hope not. I really, really hope not. What a absolute abysmal launch this game. Well, and I mean, for the lobby thing, the entire life of the game, but you know, I think they just spent so much time trying to get the game up to like what would have been an acceptable launch that was like they didn't really have time to throw that in there as well.
Yep, and every passing day the temperature's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and by the time it did kind of get to that level, you know, it had a little bit of a resurgence, I feel like.
Yeah, you know, a small one, I suppose. And I with what Invasions is, I will say I'm okay with what it is now. It's if you just want to blast through to get the content, you can. If you want to do the extra really, really annoying nodes, then you can. That's up to you. You get decent rewards from it, but like looking at what
are you excited about Invasions, or you just want the content that's in there and it's just in your way? Like you have to do it as a requirement. Like it feels kind of like a chore, doesn't it? No matter, it's not so much of a slog like it was at launch, where it requires you to do every single node and you were getting invaded like every 10 paces and shit like that. So you were just in there forever. And it was just kind of like an sort of thing anyway. But are you like, I can't wait for Invasions this year. I want to do the next blockbuster. That shit's so fun, especially since my good friend Hater taught me the Shao Kahn tech.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I'm not really excited for it. I noticed in this season they changed that block breaker, that at least from what I've found so far, that it's always that metal ball that kind of constantly moves. They took out the Cyrax bomb that will just lie on the ground sometimes. I didn't run into any of those this season, which was very nice. It's because, yeah, that's not a lot of fun where you have like 8 saws on the screen and your bomb is just stuck in the corner and you have to manage to all through all these saws just to get to that ball. And
no, that's why you use the Shao Kahn tech. You just drop his axe and use his projectile and it'll hit it like literally anywhere.
Yeah, that's the tech. I think I only did one or two of those nodes this time. I started going back yesterday and like just going through and trying the nodes, the survive nodes and stuff that I missed. And then I was like, you know, combination of being salty in Combat League, but I still wanted to play the game. And then that didn't make it any better because I got to fucking save this stupid little squirrel bullshit from the zombies. And I was like,
I think that like fighting games and stuff like that, they take so much time to kind of like, I mean, some people pick up on things faster than others, but if you're like a grinder and it's like one of your main game, you play it every day and stuff like that, like it's really important to have, I think, like a balance of like other sorts of things, because I don't think anything can hold up to like getting all of your attention all the time. Right? Like you eventually just kind of wear out and burn out on it, and it can even be like worse without like healthy breaks in between. I don't know if that's the case for you. That's kind of like how I feel.
Yeah, like a little bit. It's always hard for me to take breaks because I have a really hard time getting back into the swing of things. Like if I stop doing something, I'm just like so habitual that like I will almost get in the habit of not doing it and then not return to doing it. So that's why I try and keep things pretty consistent. I just know myself and how I work. But then it ends up like doubling down, like you said, because I'm not taking breaks when I wanted to take breaks. So I mean, I don't know. What do you do? I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out at some point. But either way, I'm just kind of
love is a cycle. Couples that have been married for 50 years or whatever, that is a series of like falling in and out of love with each other, right? Like it's just not possible to sustain that like all the time, but it does come back. It's, you know, it's a sine wave.
He'll be there. Tuesday, we'll all wake up on a brand new season of Invasions. Right there in the palm of our hands.
The brand new season of Invasions. I can't wait.
I just can't wait for that. And then make a big old juicy balance patch on top of that. You know, it's probably missing some notes, so we'll figure it out. But
balance patch is going to be like 4 notes of shit that we didn't even know was in the game, right? Like it's not like nuanced stuff either. Just kind of like stuff that doesn't even make sense. Like even understanding like how the game works. Like what environmental what was clipping something? You know, things like that. That would be funny.
Remove Shang Tsung accidentally doing a jig after being hit by the edge of Natara's hitbox of whatever move that was.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, but I mean, that's just goes to show the QA, right? They're finding things that we didn't even know was a thing. So that's
Or there's things that we just don't know broadly, and they're looking at because the WB like bug report sort of thing, people put all sorts of like shit in there. So it could be just somebody that's not even involved in the scene, and just like finds something and reports it, and they're like, oh shit, okay.
that could be a thing for next week. Is maybe we go through the bug reports and try and find some fun ones to be like, what is this a thing?
Like reading Amazon reviews.
yeah. We're reading MK1 bug reports, and
there's people in there that are going to be like, fuck you, Buffalo King. And that's their bug
100%.
report.
Yeah. Everyone else is down 1 is 7 frames except for Quan Cheese. This is a bug. Fix it, please.
Yeah, I found an oversight in the frame data.
An oversight in the frame data, yeah.
Everybody seems to have a 7 frame or better down 1 except for a little powdered donut.
Except for little Quan Cheese. So please address. Thanks. Sure, it's a quick fix. 2 frames. Easy peasy. I don't know. Maybe I'll go through it beforehand, but I think that's going to be it for this week. Thanks for listening. Let me know how you're feeling about MK1. If you're a little burnt out, kind of like I am, or if you're having a great time. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.